have to talk fast for this next one. So light bulbs. There's a lot of information. So it's a real big pet peeve of mine when I walk into an office and there's light bulbs that are either out or that there's light bulbs of different temperatures. So light bulbs come in a variety of all different kinds of things, and temperature is one of them. So some will read cool and some will read warm. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you're not picturing what I'm saying. If you walk into your office and you notice that the incandescent lights are kind of on a warm yellow side and fluorescent lights are on a bright white side, now you know what I'm talking about, warm versus cool. It's fine for them to be one or the other, but they should all match. Everything should be the same. That's the key. There's also something called the color rendering index, and this is fairly new information for me. It's on a scale of 1 to 100, and the idea is higher is better because it makes it so that color will present as it would out in daylight. So even though something might be a warm temperature, the color rendering index, CRI, should be up close to 100 so that you know that that color is as accurate as possible. And of course, that's important when we're talking about matching shade, tooth shades. So that's very little tiny bit of information about a very big subject. Sorry.
So this is, I'm going to do a plug for you. This is why you need Andrea to come
in. That's right. That's right.
He can help you with these details. So, okay, good. So mine's going to be an easy one, but not easy. It's a difficult discussion in the dental office, but mine's going to be about cell phones and about how the impression is to patients. I'm not going down the HR policy route. I'm not going to say what's legal and not legal because that's not my forte, but I am going to say that if there are cell phones nearby, if I'm checking cell phones, if I'm going into the bathroom 15 times, if I'm reaching down in the drawer, people can see that. And my newest pet peeve, and I'm on the fence with this, but I know a lot of people are going to the Apple Watches for in-office communication. But when I see someone do this just to check something on their phone, I automatically think I'm boring them and they're looking at their watch. That's an impression I don't want to give my patients. Now, doctors, I challenge you on this because doctors come to me all the time and say, well, how do I get my team not to have their cell phones on them, around them all the time? Are you carrying your cell phone around? Do you have it in your pocket and every time it buzzes, are you looking at it? You got to lead by example. So you need to find a way that cell phones are not a distraction from taking care of your patients.
Absolutely. Awesome. Very good.
All right. Number 33.
Right. So as we're talking about refreshing the practice, I really think it's important to update your artwork every now and then. Sometimes it's just a matter of taking it down and rearranging it. That can feel new and refreshing if it's nice artwork. But oftentimes we need to replace it. I love looking for local art. So if you have a way to do, a lot of communities will hold first Fridays where you can go to art galleries and stuff like that and look at different artwork from local artists or photographers. That's a great way. Art.com does a really nice job of, and that's this one too, of giving you options for framing and everything so that when you get the package, it's already done. Cartoons are not decor. So I don't care if it's a dental themed cartoon from Sunday Funnies, it is not decor. If you have to have cartoons up, it goes in the back. Even if a patient brought that to you, you can tell them, oh, this is so funny. I'm going to put it in the back with all of our others so that we can enjoy that and think of you. But nothing in the front.
I love it. I love it.
And limit the dental themed photos or pictures, art.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah. People don't want to see teeth up close. And
yeah, no.
They know what we do for a living.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine is a combination of what we bring in from the outside and dating ourselves, and I'm going to talk about magazines. We look at the magazines you have in the practice for two reasons. First of all, are you bringing in bad news again? Same with the TV and the news. If you're putting, Time Magazine and Newsweek where it's just, the latest shooting or the depression of the economy, you're putting patients in a mood that you don't want. I would have lighthearted ones that get them in the right mood, fun, nice to flip through kind of magazines. Secondly, the magazines need to be up to date, not old, right? We don't need the doctor's magazines from 10 years ago with the doctor's address ripped off of it, laying on there from 5 or 10 years ago. We need fresh magazines. It doesn't cost a lot. I mean, I use miles from one of my airlines to get new magazines. And then lastly, like Andrea was saying, is we don't have to cover the tables with them. You can go get a magazine rack and hang them up, find a way, and you don't need to have 50 or 75 magazines. 5 or 10 are fine, and then refresh them with new ones when they come out.
And is it okay if I interject something here?
Yeah, we were ahead earlier, so go for it.
Okay. I love, this is such an important point in the magazines and the TV. One of the things that both of those do is they present options for our patients' discretionary dollars. What they're doing is they're selling stuff, and patients are looking, what if they look at something, ooh, I want that. I want to buy that $200 whatever. And then they come back to the back, and now when we present them with dental care that they need to have, they're like, yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to buy my $200 whatever.
Right.
So we really have to pay attention to and understand that it's negative marketing.
I think every dental office should just have highlights. Highlights magazine. That's
such a good
I
one.
grew up with, right?
I still love it.
That's what we need. Okay, good. You are number 35.
Awesome. Very good. Okay, so shifting gears. Again, about appearance, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the appearance of the team. So making sure your scrubs are ironed. Don't wear cutesy scrubs, and please don't look like you just rolled out of bed. If you threw your hair up in the messy mom bun today, or blogger bun, or whatever you want to call it, it looks that way. It does not look professional. Iron your scrubs. If you wear makeup, put makeup on. If you don't, that's fine. Keep your nails short and clean, and make sure that they are professional. Pull your hair back if you're working on patients. And just really pay attention to what image are you presenting. Your scrubs are too long, hem them. If your tennis shoes are dirty, get new ones, right? So get on board with looking professional as well.
Did anybody just hear the Andrea mom voice come out?
Oh, sorry.
If your scrubs are too long, hem them.
That's right.
Y'all need a mom. You got it. Okay, going to mom mode. This is the next topic for me. So my next topic is mom mode in the sense of kids, toys, and play areas in the reception area. First of all, yuck, right? Second of all, we want to have things to help our patients with their children, but make sure you have things that either stay clean, that you clean regularly, and that parents, even if it is clean, if it looks gross or feels like it just got touched by a bunch of other kids, I'm not going to want my kids touching it. And you might have wiped it down, but maybe it doesn't look that way. So find ways to have, depending on how many kids you have coming in the practice, depends on how much you need in your reception area. But even to have, we had little toys that kids could play with, and we gave them out. It wasn't sitting there. Then we wiped them off as they gave them back. Have a way to make sure that parents know it's clean, that you have things that will entertain the kids, because moms will thank you, but then make sure that you keep it clean and you keep it fresh, and it's buy a new toy when it looks like it's outdated, because again, that's how patients are judging us. They think that your office is gross if the toys are gross.
Yep, perfect.
We're almost done.
Almost there.
All right, your turn.
Okay. So back to the scrubs. So I'm a big believer in matching or coordinating scrubs. Maybe they don't all have to match perfectly, but I believe they should coordinate very well. I think that's part of your branding. I think it's a great idea for that to be your logo, to be represented in the scrub colors if you have a great logo. The jackets should be embroidered with the logo. I prefer name tags over embroidered names. And then I also really believe obviously they have to be OSHA approved, so arm length. It is not OSHA compliant to walk home or go home in your long sleeve t-shirt that you wear underneath your scrub top. That's not OSHA approved, and so pay attention to that. So lab jackets should be arm's length, and make sure your shoes are also OSHA approved. So really professional.
So no open toe sandals in the back?
No, sorry, no flip-flops.
Oh, my toes are so cute.
I know, mine too.
Okay, so for those that don't know, Andrea and I have done other training videos that are on Front Office Rocks. And in one of our videos, we talk about these topics. And I tell a story about my daughter was a dental assistant for a while. She doesn't love it. But when I talked to her at night, she would tell me the truth. And I'd say, honey, what are you doing throughout the day? And she said, we're always working to end the day as soon as possible. Meaning we're always cleaning up. We're always sterilizing instruments. We're always prepping so we can get out on time. And I know that sounds negative, but it's actually not. throughout the day, we know at the end of the day, don't wait to the end of the day to have to clean everything up and do everything. There's time throughout the day to wipe down counters, to pick up that, before you go to lunch, pick up that stack of paper and put it where it needs to go. Walk by the counter and clean off the coffee area. Like, this is just good because company's always coming, but it's also getting us ready so at the end of the day we can get out on time and we haven't, you know, left a big mess, kind of like kids playing with toys. Don't leave them all out all day and then have to clean them up at the end. Clean them up along the way. It's going to make a nicer environment and you're going to get out of work on time at the end of the day. I
love it. That's such a good one.
All right, our last, let's see, 2, right?
So my last one. So I know that this is going to be a philosophy-based thing. I prefer to see a front office that's dressed professionally in business attire rather than scrubs. I'm not a big fan of the front office in scrubs. I believe that really depends on the practice. I think that would be more acceptable in, say, a pediatric practice, you know, just because we're not dealing with $50,000 treatment plans and that kind of thing many times. But when we're in a general practice or a specialist office, I really believe that the front office should be dressed in business attire. And for me, business attire means black slacks and shoes and a coordinating top or sweater. And by coordinating, I mean coordinating, again, with the practice logo and branding. So within a color scheme or to wear a nice top with the logo branded on a sweater. Can be a really nice touch, but some kind of jacket, some kind of something that's professional, collared shirts, that kind of thing, rather than scrubs or just t-shirt tops.
Yep, I agree. You and I completely agree about that. Okay, so then my last one, and it's always probably the most forgotten about, is the actual team and our spaces. So we spend, hopefully you're spending time and you got ideas from this to work on the patient spaces, but we spend more time at our dental offices than we do pretty much at home. So make sure that you're doing things to keep the kitchen and the break room and the locker room, you know, put some art in there and do some nice things, maybe decorate a little bit for the holidays for you guys to get your mood up, because when we can walk off stage, when we can go and, right, we want to have a nice environment. And a really good example for this is in my office, I had a thing where we had some moms who had babies and they needed a pump. And the only place we had in our office, because we have glass doors, was the bathroom. And the staff lounge bathroom was the last place we wanted to spend money to decorate. But here we are now, they have to spend 10 minutes in there pumping throughout the day. So we put some team pictures on the wall and a nice chair and like a nice smelly thing. So make sure that you're doing things for your team too, because it's a long day and it can be stressful. And we should also have environments that everything has its place and we enjoy going into. So there, we did it. 40
we did it.
Let's see, did we do it in 40 minutes? We did, I think. I mean, maybe
awesome.
Pretty good for you and I. So
that's awesome.
Anybody watching or anybody that's going to watch this later, Andrea, tell them again who you are, what you do, and how they can reach out to you.
Awesome. So Andrea Greer, and I am On Point Space, and I work with teams to elevate their dental practices or their private offices, whether it's in the practice or at home, so that they're really offices and spaces that they want to be in and that they feel good about being. Because I think that if you do, then your work is going to be, you're honoring your work is going to be more productive. And you're going to, in the dental office, you're going to care for your patients a lot better if you really enjoy being in the office and if the team is invested in keeping the office pretty and updated. My website is onpointspace.com, and you can reach out to me. My email address is andrea@onpoint.consulting.
Awesome. And we have both of our contact information here. I'm Laura Hatch. I'm the founder of Front Office Rocks. And what we do is front office and now back office training, where we focus on systems, verbal skills, and customer service for your team. I believe that patients don't know if you're a good dentist or not, but they know how they feel when they're in your office, and your team is the biggest investment, the biggest part of that impact. So really invest in your team. FrontOfficeRocks.com. We have all the information down below. Make sure you check us out. If you have questions, it's all online video training. And then if you watch this video and you have ideas, you have thoughts as to what's one of your tips, if you would have done this, what would you have added that you guys do in your practice? Let's share this. Let's make this go viral. So give us, we only gave ourselves 40 minutes. We gave you our top 40, but we want to hear what you have to say too. So thanks, Andrea. This was super fun.
Thank you. Yes, it was great. Thank you.